Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin, and welcome to another Let's Pixel video. In this video, I'm going to be doing a sort of a mech character, and this was requested by one of my Twitter followers, and I'm bringing up his name right now. He's just got it as JD, so JD requested this, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do because it's different from a lot of the other stuff that I kind of do on pixel art most of the time. So let's see how this goes. I don't have a lot of experience doing mech characters like this, robotic characters, but I'll give it a try. So let's see how it goes. I'm probably going to do a slightly smaller one. A lot of these tend to be really, really huge. I'm going to do it pretty big still, but not, well, that's probably not big enough. Let's try this and see how this goes. Okay, so I'm going to start this like I start all of mine, which is doing some sort of a silhouette for the character that I want to do. And I'm thinking, I'm kind of thinking 2 legs. And let's see, something, I don't know how I want the foot to look yet. That's kind of interesting. So I'm just making some sort of a shape here really quick, because when you first start you don't want to overcommit to anything. It's really good practice to start with something rough and then kind of change it as you go. I don't really like that. Let's go back to what I had before. I actually don't really mind this as the kind of the leg, so I'm thinking it will be kind of positioned like this, and then have some sort of a torso, like a cockpit thing here, and a gun on it. Kind of what I'm thinking. And kind of want this angle to come maybe like this. Let's see. Actually feels like it'd be kind of interesting to do something like this. And you can see this is important with a mech creature like this. The leg kind of feels not balanced to me, just the way that it's set up currently. And so we might need to angle this part back more, like this, and then drag this part of the foot back more a little bit. To try and make it feel a little bit more balanced, and that's looking better. I honestly don't really like the way this looks still. Looks pretty bad in my opinion. Do this a different color so we can see that I don't like that color. So you can see that this is kind of like a cockpit area like this. And then we'd have the other leg in the back. And blend. Okay. Gonna need to take off some of this. This is all rough. I'm just getting the shapes. You take it off blend now. Don't know if this is what I'm gonna keep at all yet. So I still think the leg shape is interesting, but I don't like the cockpit shape still. But the leg shape might also be, let me try something real quick. It might be more interesting if I had this as the front. And that's kind of cool too. Gives it like these huge feet. Let's see what I can do with that. We'll delete these. See, that's a little more interesting, I think. Oops. Draw. Yeah, we need that there to balance it out a little bit, but I'm starting to like the way that this is going for the most part. Something like this. And then if we just grab about this much of this leg and do blend, it would be back here on this side. The problem is this leg right here needs to be probably this color, and then use the black for the back. I'm just gonna copy this part of the leg for now. Then fill it in. Well, this would be one spot where having layers would be useful. I generally like to use GameMaker Studio 1 just for quick stuff like this. But this is one area where it would be really nice to have layers. So since this is just a quick mock-up, I'm going to open paint.net, which has layers. And throw this in here. Put that about right there. Make it darker. And there we go. And that's a pretty good start, I think. I think that has a generally a pretty nice shape to it. So we'll combine the layers. Well, no, we won't do that yet. Let's come back into here. Since we confirmed this has a pretty good shape, we're going to come back into GameMaker and we're going to start actually cleaning these lines up because these lines are really messy and we want them to be nice and clean. So let's come back here, switch to replace over here, and make sure these lines are really clean. Then what we're going to want to start doing is the lighting. At least that's what I would focus on next. Grab this line for this part. Now this one looks like it might be about a 3. There's a 2 there. Let's cut off this. Okay, so we're starting to clean up the lines a bit. Then we want to start adding lighting. So I'm going to grab the current colors that I have and just kind of make this a little bit 3D. One, 2, 3, 4 pixels over. I feel like this part right here should be kind of a circular area. Something like that. Okay, we're starting to get the leg going well. kind of to make sure that that makes sense as a circle. It's not really making sense right now. Looks kind of squashed. So I've got my light source coming from here, so that's important to remember. So I'm going to need to start shading areas like under here. Kind of makes sense to actually make this as like an attachment maybe. Kind of like hydraulics, I guess. I think that could work. Now please do remember that, like I said, I've never done this before, so I have no clue how the end result is going to turn out. But I'm gonna give it a good shot. Currently I'm only using gray, but this is gonna need to change because gray is actually a really boring, like it's not interesting. So we're gonna want to change it. Now with stuff like this, we want it to have a pretty high contrast. There's going to be areas here that we want to be really well lit, I guess. And the best way that we can see it is by getting another color as a background, so we can actually see how the contrast is going to look on this. So I'm going to get a purple for my background to help me to see this better. Now this area right here should all be shaded. Kind of get some plate type stuff going. And make sure that I've got enough contrast here. It's kind of what I'm trying to do, because it's hard to make sure. And I think it's looking better. Now I like the hydraulic idea here, so maybe I'll try and add some here as well. And probably add, I think maybe just adding some designs to this now could really help, like little shapes. And probably I'm going to want to follow the don't really want to do those squares though. Maybe I'll just do 2 lines. See how that looks. That looks better, I guess. And this should have maybe like a centerpiece, thinking. More towards the back like that. This probably should as well. Because it feels like this is some sort of yeah, that's not what I want it to look like. It's not a very good circle. It gets tricky to draw circles at a lower resolution like this and make it fit with the shape of whatever we're drawing. Okay, I need to look at it from far away. Okay, so I've got decent values, decent lighting so far. It's not looking too bad. I'm trying. I need to match up all the values now, so that makes sense. Let's make the cockpit So I'm thinking it's going to be like a darker color. Looks like I didn't actually ever clean that up right there. Let's make sure we clean this up. So maybe if we come from about here, pop this up just a little bit, come back in, and then I want to use a similar pattern to up here, so I'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come straight down and across. That was more than 3, so there we go. And we'll go with that there and that there. For the cockpit. Okay. I might pop it out just a little bit more, which means we'll want to do the same thing with the inside right here. There we go. Now they should line up nice, and we can get a darker color than this. It's not too dark, and put it right here. It might not be dark enough. I'm gonna use paint.net to color this probably, so then this is definitely going to this area right here is definitely going to be shaded because of this right here. Trying to keep similar patterns to make it feel like it's all part of the same thing. I want to do some kind of bolts, so I'm going to come and add them here and here, up here, add one here and one here, one here. Nope, that's not a good one. And I'm going to highlight this maybe just a little bit. Stupid thing didn't draw the line. Even though our light is coming from up here, it's probably going to hit here on the top just a little bit as well. Maybe add this to make a smoother transition to the middle. In the same way that I did on these spots as well. Oops. And then let's add some bolts around here. Just to help with the metal feel. And it's not looking too bad, I don't think. So Just messing around with adding like a shine on the cockpit. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's on there now, so I can take it off if I don't like it, which I don't like that really. I think I need to do it more. Like, it's not a bad idea. That's probably a little better. Makes sense to have a bolt there, maybe. Okay, well, I can't spend too much time on this. I'm sure this video is already getting pretty long. So now I'm going to color this and show you kind of how I'd go about that. First of all, let's get rid of my background. And I'm going to select the whole thing. Then we're coming back into paint.net. And we're going to get rid of this layer, put this on here, and then we're going to copy the leg, paint.net is a free program, by the way, so oh, come on. Okay, there we go. That's what I need. Should be able to get this, and then I can use the, where's the draw tool? Oh, this one right here. Okay, that didn't go quite how I wanted it to. Close. There we go. I just need to get the inside then. Okay. Then we'll come back to this layer. And then on this layer, I'm going to do brightness and contrast. I'll make it darker and lower the contrast a little bit. And that's how you make something kind of fade back into the background. It has stuff in the background generally has a lower contrast, and well, it's only darker depending on, it might be lighter in some situations. And if you've got like a foggy type area, it might be a little bit lighter. But if it's like nighttime, then it's going to be darker. So it honestly really doesn't matter which one we choose. It depends on the area that you're in, kind of the lighting that you're in. And then I'm going to combine these two layers. And actually, I'm going to undo that. So something important here is that this leg right here is on the outside, and this leg right here is on the inside. So it's going to be actually darker in different places. So let me show you. I'm thinking that maybe, and we want to make sure that this is on that right there. I'm thinking that maybe on these interiors like this, actually want to go pretty dark. Oops. Okay. Let's grab that color, then switch back to this layer, and then darken this. And there you go. Then it starts to feel more like it's the back leg. And I'm going to do So that will help it to feel more like a back. And then if you want to do the, oops, it's already black and white, brightness and contrast. Then if you want to do the brightness and contrast on here, and I honestly think that going darker is going to be the better choice for this one. Now that looks pretty good. Okay, then I'm going to merge the layers together. So we can't mess with them separate anymore, they're merged. And okay. Then I want to add color to this, so I'm going to use sepia right here, which will add a little bit of color, so it's not just black and white anymore. And then I'm going to go into my curves. So this kind of moves away from pixel art just a little bit, and moves into using different software to manipulate colors. And I really like doing stuff like this. So if we switch it off luminosity and go to red, green, blue, I want to do warmer colors in the light areas and then cooler colors in the dark areas. So if I turn on blue and green right here, so I uncheck red basically, and then I pull down on here. Let's just do blue actually, so undo that, reset. Okay, so just do blue, pull down on blue, just a tad up here at the top. And then we want to bring up the blue here in the on the lower register. So I'm going to bring it actually pretty high, then do another point right here. And look at that. Look at how cool that is. It makes the shadows bluer. And the other colors, like the brighter colors, a little bit yellower. So it gives you an instant hue shift, because we shift kind of from blues in the light colors to yellows in the other colors. And I think that's really cool. Now if we want to add green, maybe we want to, so if we add green, it'll reduce the red in it. And maybe we want to add green down here and subtract it back out up here. Yeah, let's just pretend like that didn't happen. I just right clicked on those to remove them. I actually want more yellow. So if I take off blue and then I put both green and red, that will give us our yellows. We can add a little bit more yellow in the brighter areas and then just even it right back down for the other areas. Okay. And that's not too bad. I think we should go to hue and saturation now. And we could shift the hue of this just a little bit and lower the saturation since it is supposed to be like metallic. And then what a lot of people will do with this is they'll add, you know, like a stripe to it of some kind. So I'm going to actually just select this again. Come back into here. make it all purple again in the background, just because I think it looks nice. And then you could add a stripe of some sort of color, and since this is kind of purple in the shades and yellow in the brighter areas, I think actually a yellow might look kind of cool on this. So we could come and say, oh, okay, there's a stripe right here on this. And one right here on this. And then these stripes, they would come down into here as well. But we'll want to shade them right here. So we'll grab our yellow. We're going to lower. We're going to go towards purple just a bit, so kind of more in the orange. And lower the saturation quite a bit. Come into like this color maybe. See how that looks. If that looks like it's, and that looks pretty good. That looks like it's a shaded version of this yellow. So then you can start adding some interesting designs to it to make it feel like somebody painted it. And probably they'll have stuff like this. This is something you'd probably want to do before you actually make the back leg, unfortunately, if you're going to do it on the sides like this, unless they decided to only do the outside of it, which is possible. But that's just something to keep in mind a little bit. And then let's come with, let's paint this right here. I just want the cockpit to maybe feel like it's painted a little bit better too. So let's create a darker version of this. That. Put it right here. And there you go. They usually add some sort of design like that. So I'm going to call this done for now. You could obviously, there's always a little bit more polish that you could do, like maybe adding a little bit of a highlight around the edge of the cockpit like that could make it look nice. And you can always mess with the values and different things, but I think this is actually a pretty good start. And I think it looks cool. So I'm pretty proud of it, honestly, for the first time that I've ever really done something like this. I think it turned out pretty nice. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to JD again on Twitter for requesting it. I hope you liked it, man. Thanks for the support. And I will talk to you guys later.